Alright, so next, get your motherboard out of the way. You don't need it right now. Next, we're going to put in the power supply. I like to put the power supply in first, just so you don't have to fight against the motherboard in case the motherboard comes down all the way to this part. So, depending on your case, you'll either have 4 screws like this, 1, 2, 3, and 4, or it will be 2 screws at the back here, and you undo those 2 and then slide it out towards the back. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just put it off to the side. Toss that there. And now you have this. So I'm just going to move these cords out of the way. And then take the big guy. Now, if you are putting this on carpet, like this computer is going to be on carpet, put this fan up, facing upwards, because this fan pulls cool air in. Even if it's from the system, it's going to be better than suffocating on carpet. But because I'm not, I'm going to put it in the proper way, facing down. You want to just make sure those little pins are there. It's a little bit, by pins I mean these little rubber things, will make it so the power supply doesn't make a racket in there. So, place it in like so, right at the back, put snug. Next, you want to turn this bad boy around so you can see the back. Then grab some screws, which are those ones. Will come either with your power supply, sometimes, or most of the time it comes with your motherboard. 2 is all you need, but 4 is highly recommended. So, that is pretty much it. You just want to make sure to line up the screws with the holes. There'll be holes either in the frame of your PC, or it will have an adapter piece that slides off. And then you put it onto the power supply. Just trying to finger start it by one hand. Is he gonna knock it out? Oh, is he? Is he? And he got it! Oh, the crowd goes wild. And then just do it until it's snug. You don't want to ream it, you don't want to break them in there. And then just make sure it doesn't move around. Next, you're going to open up the back, which you have these little slide screws, just like this. So unscrew the 2 of them. Keep these in a safe location as well. And then grab the little thing and pull it forward. And that comes off. So, toss that over there. Now it's wide open, so now we can take all these wires that we have, toss her through the hole, and slowly bring them through. This is the best way to make it so it looks cleaner, because you want to hide as much wires in the back. You rather have the back part propped open just a little bit, because of the stuffed wires, than have your PC looking all ugly from cords being all over the place. A lot of people don't ever go in through the back. They just throw them where they need to go, and then they call it a day, but that actually restricts a lot of airflow. So I'm just going to slowly feed it through. So after that, we got all the cords straight through, so that way we can feed each one individually when we need to. I am going to make sure to take the CPU one, which says CPU, and I'm going to stuff it up top here, just so that way I know that it's there before I put the motherboard in. Alright, so next we're going to work with the fans. I'm going to do the back one first, and then that way I can figure out how far this needs to extend to get to my RGB fitter. Now, if you already have your fans installed, you can just skip this part. That's all that the rest of this video is going to be. So with your fan, you need to figure out which way the air is going to be blowing. So I know that because of the way that the fans are facing, this is the out, and then that's the in. The part that's curved down so your finger can slide down like a ramp, that's your pulling in. And then the sliding up, like that, would be sliding down, will be your out. So, now that I have one screw in, so I just lined it up, made sure that it is the back part pushing out, because it is the back of the PC. I put in one screw just to hold it. Now you need to make sure to line up that cord that comes out of the fan right there, and then set it up so it will be going to the back, because you want to hide the fan. You don't want it laying around all willy-nilly. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 to keep the fan secure. The screws are provided usually in the case that the fan came in, and then you do need to like tighten it pretty tight, and sometimes you can hear some snapping because these screws are very, very ridged. They're made to like completely rip it apart. Just want to do it so it's snug, so it's not rolling around. And use all 4. Bottom one's next, so on and so forth. Going to need to use 2 hands. So next you're going to have to use, again, the tool, figure out which way the fans go. We'll go over it, but now you need to decide if you want to put the fans on the inside or the outside. I highly recommend always put them on the outside. One, because the lights of the fans will stick around a lot, like actually light up a lot more. There is a ton of cat hair in there. Just gonna get that a quick wipe up off. And you will actually have more room inside your case without damaging anything, just in case for whatever reason something's in the way or one of these cords gets there. So I highly recommend putting it on the outside. Okay, so now all the fans are in. Screw them in through the back, and then put them like that. Squeeze the cords through the little hole, and now I'm going to use the hole down below to feed these through, and then decide where to slap this, which is pretty much going to go on the other side behind, where it's going to be hidden. So I chose right here, just took off the sticker off the back, this thing, slap her on, and then they can only plug in one way. So there's one, grab these 2, plug them in on the other side, bring it up, send it out of the way, just take this little end, plug it into one of these headers. If it doesn't go in one way, just flip it over, and we'll slide in the other. There you go. Just make sure it's tight, won't come out. Good to go. And then just repeat until it's all 3. Now after all 3 of them are plugged in, or however many you chose, with yours, you now take the power unit like that and put it into one of these SATA cables. So I'm going to be thinking that I'm probably going to be using this again. I think, no, there is actually 2. So what I was looking at is there's 2 of these, 2 individual entities of these sort of wires. Because if there wasn't, some power supplies only come with a 1. Just want to make sure to not tangle it as little as possible. So there's the snag, pull it through. The trick to it is just being patient with these wires and using 2 hands. I can tell why I never done this before. It's because working with one hand is crappy. So just take the SATA cable with the L, make sure to look at the L on this, and then plug them together. Like so. Just like that. So, plugged in, just like that. It has enough slack in case it needs to reach the hard drive, so I can hide this other wire completely if I choose to. That way there's not a ton of wires hanging around. And that's it for the fans and the power supply.